Okay, so these are those three questions we did in the class. So I'm just going to do it on video so that you have it, because these were questions that were on last year's test. So I'd like you to have it. So here, let's go over the first question again. So Mr. Cho's weight fluctuated, which means it went up and down over the week. So I had, and let's just call Mr. Cho's weight. I don't know how much he weighs, or I weigh. Sorry, speaking in third person. I don't know how much I weigh right now, but I know I weigh this much. So on Monday, my weight increased by 1.45, so it went up, right? So I'll put it like this. But on Tuesday, I was lucky; it went down, right? So you can write it like this, or if you want to write plus negative 8.5, that's fine. And then on Wednesday, it went up, thankfully. On Thursday, it went down again. But on Friday, it went up a little bit much. So what I need you to do is calculate this stuff here. So you can tell me if by the end of the week my weight went up or down. So let's do these two. So it's 1.45 minus 0.85, right? We can do these two, and that's going to give me 60 positive. And then I'm going to do minus 0.68. That's going to give me positive minus 0.08. And then minus negative 1.24. That's going to give me negative 1.32. And then finally, at the last day, Friday, my weight went up to 0.59. And then negative plus a positive. In this case, the negatives are going to win, right? So at the end of this week, I'm going to have a negative number here. So it means that I lost weight. Not too much, 1.32. That means that at the end of all this up and down, I ended up losing weight. That's my final after I do the up and down, up and down. So I don't really care what my, so let me write this. This shows weight, right? So I don't know what my weight is. So I actually, sorry, did he gain or lose weight by the end of the week? By the end of the week. So I can write by the end of the week, by the end of the week, he lost weight. All right, let's figure out what it was. So the bottom question said, what was my weight at the beginning of the week? So I know that what was his weight at the beginning of the week if he ended weighing 164.5 pounds on Friday. So this is what that means. It means that on Friday, here's my beginning weight. My beginning. This is my change. So remember that temperature thing here, right? This is my final weight. So it tells me that my final weight was 164.5. I know what my change was. This is what happened during the week. Went up and down, there was a change in my weight. What did I start with? How do I find this number over here? Okay, so this is the beginning. So, and again, start, or actually maybe I should have written start so we can go back. So to find the start is final minus change, right? So another way of thinking of this is if I put this for you. First of all, this is going to be a minus, right? Just write it like this. Let me give you an example. If I asked you, what is this number right here? What would you do? We would use the inverse operation, which is subtraction, right? And what would we subtract? We would do 7 minus 2 to give us 5, right? And the idea is the same here. So we're going to go this number minus this number to give us our starting temperature. So to find my starting temperature, to find my starting weight, I'm going to do 164.5 minus 0.73. Take the parentheses out. Right, so 164.5 minus 0.73 means that, wait a second here. Okay, I see what I mean. this was negative to begin with, so it's minus. I forgot that. So it's 164.5 plus 0.73. Remember, I just made that mistake. Means that in the beginning of the week I was 165.23, and that makes sense because I was a little heavier. I did lose something, and my what do you call it? My body weight went down, right? Number 2. So again, this one, I don't like these questions, but they eventually give it to you. Sam had $24 in his bank account, her bank account, plus. Then she buys 4 books at $12.50. She goes and spends money. So 4 books times $12.50, right? It's going to give us 50 bucks. So she spends $50. Does she have $50 in her bank account to begin with? So I'm going to write it like this. That means that right now, if I were to do this, negatives are going to win. I'll put money here. She is negative $26 in her bank account. Now, banks don't like that. Some banks say, hey, you can use our bank, you can use our card, you can use our services, but you need to have some money in there. The bank says, so if I draw a number line, the bank says, this is 0. You must always have this much money, 15 bucks or more. Right now, she's over here. How much money does she need to put to get her bank account to go from here all the way to at least $15? Well, you can think of this as, traveling the elevator. Remember we talked about. So she needs to put at least 26 bucks to go back to 0, and then another 15, right, to get to 15. So she needs to go this. And how much is this? She's a negative 26. Just to go back to 0, she needs to put 26 bucks. And then from 0 to 15, she needs to put another $15. So what's the total amount that she has to put in to get to $15? Well, total amount, it's going to be 26 plus 15. She needs to put in $41 to get to $15. Okay. Now, the bank also charges a $9.99 fee for having a negative balance. So once she hit this negative number over here, the bank said, well, you made a mistake there. We're going to charge you $9.99. That's for hitting a negative number when you're never supposed to do that. So besides this $41, so she already has to put $41 to bring her balance to a positive side, to positive 15, plus she got paid $9.99 as a penalty. So that's going to give us what? 50.99. That's how much she has to deposit in total. Okay. Cucumber, $2.25. All right, so you can read all that. So how much more does 1 1/5 pounds of tomatoes cost and 1 1/5 pound of cucumber? So let's find out what the tomatoes cost. Well, it's 1 1/5 times 350. I'll leave it like that. And then 1 1/5 times how much of the cucumbers times 2.25. I'll change this to a decimal, so it's going to be 1.2 times 3.5. So if I buy 1.2 pounds of, what is this? I'm going to write T for tomatoes and C for cucumber. Of tomatoes, how much will it cost? So simple. Let's multiply 1.2. We're dealing with money. That's going to give us $4.2. So it's going to cost me $4.20. If I buy 1 1/5, 1.2 times 2.25 of cucumbers, this is going to cost me 1.2 times 2.25. It's going to cost me $2.70. So obviously the tomato costs a little bit more because it's a little more expensive. How much more? Well, let's subtract 4.2 minus 2.7. That costs us $1.50 more. Very simple question. And at the bottom is the same idea, but Tim is buying 3/4 of apples. So apples are 1 point. So 3/4 of apples, and apples are $1.75. And 1 1/2 pounds of pears, and pears are $1.45. Well, 3/4 is 0.75. I want to change it to decimal because we're dealing with money, right? So I'm going to multiply those two. 0.75 times 1, 0.75 times 1.75. The apples are going to cost me $1.31, rounded. The pears, again, the pears I'm going to change to 1.5 times 1.45. These are my pears, these are my apples. And I'm going to get 1.5 times 1.45. 1.5 times 1.45, and that's going to give me rounded 2.18. So the total here is going to be 1.31 for the apples plus 2.18 for the pears, and that's going to give me 2.49. Okay, so that's how much I'm going to pay for those two. And well, I'm paying with a $20 bill. I want to see how much change. Well, $20 I give to the cashier minus what I bought. So this is going to give me $17.51. Oops. 51 cents. Okay, so that's that particular. So now you have a sample of what to do. Okay. Stop recording.